Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another edition of Alviso. This is our local Criterium, weekly out here in Alviso, California. Super fun, dynamic business park crit. We always have a pretty serious crosswind. No exception today. You can see the blue arrows in the bottom right-hand corner. We're going to talk more about that in a little bit. Let's first quickly discuss the competition. We had the normal hitters that you've seen in past videos. We had Matt, Donald, both really strong breakaway riders. And with special guest, the return of Max. You guys remember Max from some previous Alviso videos. Man, it seems like he's even faster than normal. So, yeah, we're going to talk more about him later in this race. And then, of course, the Thirsty Bear duo. We have Jerome, the sprinter. We have Blaine, the very powerful breakaway rider. That's a potent combination. And let's just dive into the footage and see how things play out. But first, a real quick message from the sponsor of this video, and that is Intelligentsia Coffee. A lot of you probably don't know this about me. I don't know why you would, but I roast my own coffee. My family member grows the beans. I roast it. It's a long story. I don't want to get into it, but the point is I am a coffee snob. I am a coffee dork, whatever you want to call it. I appreciate good coffee, which is why I'm very excited to announce that Intelligentsia now sponsoring this video and this channel. So you guys probably know them because they put on the Intelligentsia Cup. But what you may not know is they make incredible coffee. You don't want to go down this path right here. Whoa, you don't want to go down this path right here. Trust me, it's a slippery slope. So get the best coffee sent directly to you. Intelligentsia Coffee has a subscription service where you select what type of subscription you want. If you don't know what kind, they select it for you. Amazing coffees. They roast it and then they immediately ship it to you, so it's very fresh. And then you just determine how often you want it. Sit back, the coffee arrives to you. It is delicious, and I'm very happy to have them on board. Not to mention, there is a discount code in the link below for fans of this channel. So thank you, Intelligentsia, for sponsoring this video. Now back to the content. Oh, and first thing, real fast, chest cam? I brought the chest cam back. I don't know. Vote down below in the comments. If you guys want me to do more of the chest cam at Alviso, I'm happy to do it. I kind of like this perspective. Or if you like it better on the handlebars, just let me know. But let's talk about what's going on here, because it's kind of interesting. The first 10 minutes of this race, they weren't really slow, but also they weren't that fast. Riders kind of went off the front in ones and twos. It wasn't quite threatening enough for me to feel like I need to bridge across or chase it back or really commit energy to it. But I also couldn't just sit mid-pack and, turn my brain off and maximize that draft. So that's why I'm here. You can see near the front of the race, maybe second or third wheel, ideally. Trying to keep an eye on what's going on, looking at that gap, looking at the composition of who's in the breakaway, and determining when I need to pull that trigger. And for those wondering, this was the moment that I had to pull the trigger. This was the moment I had to do something because, well, maybe I'll just pause it. I'll pause it and give you guys a second. Do you see what I see? For those of you who got it, that's correct. This is Blaine from Thirsty Bear on the right. He is going to put in this absolute monster slingshot attack. Dude, that's my move. I mean, not the part where you cross the center line. That's not my move. But carrying all the speed past the front riders, it catches them by surprise. Notice nobody's chasing on the front. And I was kind of boxed in. In fact, people are not even holding wheels up here, so it's time to send it. This is over 1,000 watts. Have to commit energy now. This is the moment I have to respond, because up until now, I mean, we're already halfway through Alviso. Up until this moment, I was kind of sitting back, chilling. There was a small group off the front, wasn't really working cohesively. People were sort of chasing, and I wasn't really motivated to jump across. But once Blaine goes, that eliminates Jerome and Blaine from the picture, obviously. Of doing any chasing. So now I have to follow. And it's kind of interesting. I get behind these two riders right here who, it's like, hey, if they're going to be doing, close to 30 miles an hour, then I'm happy to sit behind them and enjoy the draft. But now I'm getting down into the drops because it's just not quite fast enough. And I see Blaine's about to make the connection with the front pack of riders, and I cannot let that happen because once he gets up there, makes that connection, then that's probably going to be just about it. It's going to be really hard to chase them back because now they're going to be a cohesive group of 6 or something. So put my head down, and I commit to getting across. And even though it's just a handful of seconds, it's a big energy burn, as you can see. And this is why it's such a good move by Blaine and Thirsty Bear, because now I am getting softened up for the field sprint against his sprinter teammate, Jerome. And yeah, I mean, we get there. We get there, but that definitely hurt. And Blaine decides just to immediately go again. And I cannot, I didn't go this far in order just to let Blaine go again. So I want to nip this in the bud, and I want to make sure he doesn't, extend this little gap that he's opening up too far. So I put my head down one more time, commit even more energy to jump across. And look who's in my wheel. This is Jerome. This is his teammate, the sprinter, who's just benefiting from my draft. So this is, again, a fantastic move by the Thirsty Bear duo. And fast forwarding again, just a few hundred meters later, I go through my rotation, and then and then Matt doesn't. Matt playing the game again. I see you there, buddy, just like last week, which means that Jerome from Thirsty Bear just kind of rolls off the front and opens this gap. And I should have known what Matt was up to based on what he was doing last week, because right when we turn into this tailwind, he rips it, and Blaine follows, and this is no bueno. I am so far out of position. I've dropped too far back, and it's going to cost me. I absolutely have to get across to this based on who's already up the road and now who is making their way up the road in the form of Matt and Blaine. So this is the hill I die on. I just rip it. I put my head down, get as aero as possible. We're close to 40 miles an hour, and I'm barely even making up ground on these guys. They're so fast. And I eventually get there, but like at what cost, right? My heart rate's 175 beats per minute. The good news is nobody counterattacks once I get there, and we actually start rotating. The bad news is it literally lasts one single rotation, and as I finish my pull here, looking in the rear camera, that damn pesky Matt again, allergic to the front, playing games, unwilling to pull through. And check this out. Brilliant move here by Max. He sees the writing on the wall and just immediately attacks. Everyone wants me to single-handedly chase this one back, but I refuse because I don't want to just pull the group around and then get counterattacked later on. So he very quickly opens a big gap by himself while we're back in this breakaway group, just kind of messing around. There's no cohesion, no rotation. We still have 8 kilometers to go, and everyone's playing games. You see these gaps opening up. It's pretty ugly. So then we really slow down, and I don't want to lose. Max is up there just smashing away, opening this gap. So instead of playing the game back here in the group, we're going 23 miles an hour. I'm doing 150 watts. My heart rate is quite low. I rip it here in the crosswind, in the gutter, meaning that my competition is not benefiting from my draft. And here's the thing. If we all cooperate and rotate, even if it's just a few of us in order to bring Max back, I wouldn't be doing this because this is kind of unfriendly. But a couple of things. First, I'm out here to win. Like, I'm competitive. I want to win this race. And I'm not going to win this race by trying to pull back Max single-handedly. Like I said before, Matt or somebody else would definitely launch this devastating counterattack later on. So I think this is the best move. I want to make sure that that gap up to Max is kept in check, and I want to make sure that I'm not going to benefit my competition in the process. But it doesn't work. We're still playing the game. Like, we're still kind of noodling around, not rotating, and Max is still up there just motoring. I was not able to get a good rotation going, and that's why right here I launch it in the crosswind. The idea here is I'm trying to get across to this rider, and I want to find like a smaller group. When breakaway groups get this big like this, I'd say anything over like 4 or 5 is kind of the magic number. You always have somebody, call him a barnacle, who refuses to take a pull, and that spreads in the group. Like, if once one person stops pulling, another person stops pulling, and then suddenly you have this hot mess that we're in, that we find ourselves in right now. And it opens the door for these counterattacks, like Max off the front. So I want to like make a selection from the selection because, look, guys, it's 3 kilometers left. There's now 2 riders off the front, by the way. Donald got across. He's up there with Max, and the 2 of them now are rotating smoothly. What do we say? Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. They're consistent, they're efficient, and they're getting away from us, and the clock is ticking now. And that's the reason I took that monster pull. It's not because I wanted to. Look, my heart rate is now over 170 beats per minute. It's because I needed to. It's because we need to. We are all losing to these 2 riders off the front. They have to be brought back. And notice that I don't fall all the way back to the group. Like, it's time to stay towards the front,
really motivate these riders to start pulling. And we get a little bit of rotation going. Look, we're coming into 1 lap to go. They're still out of sight. I think they still have probably 15 to 20 seconds. There is still, look, I'm calling out 1 lap to go. There is still a chance that we can bring them back. I take another hard pull. Heart rate's still over 170 beats per minute. Elbow flick does not work. We're all playing the game still. Like, so frustrating. And this is bike racing. I mean, this is what made Max's move so brilliant, is because he's not back here dealing with this. We are our own worst enemies. I mean, here's a decent pull by Super Dave. I'm gonna like rip it again, I think, if I remember correctly, because we have to. Like, we're about to lose. You can see them up there just barely, I think. So at this point, I was thinking we're probably not going to catch them, but there's a chance. And so I give it another pull, but I'm kind of at my limit. I'm like yelling at riders, like, just follow the wheels. Like, why are we letting gaps open up? Doesn't make any sense. If you let a gap open up like that, it's even harder work for you. And we have to chase these Thirsty Bear guys. They're the only team with 2 riders. They have to get to the front and commit to it now. But I get it. Like, this is what makes bike racing so fun, so interesting and dynamic, is who wants to pull if there's a sprinter in the group. Like, I understand why people are doing this. And that's, this is why I should have followed Max 5 laps before this. 25 minutes before this point in the race, I should have followed Max and not even put myself in this situation. Because now I have fallen back, and now I'm thinking to myself, hopefully somebody else pulls it back. And once in a bike race, once you're thinking hopefully ... hopefully fill in the blank, like I am in this situation, things are out of your control and mistakes have been made, because you don't ever want to depend on other riders to do the thing that you want, because it's a race. Like, they don't want to do the thing that you want. But it does look like, we're going 30 miles an hour into the headwind, so there still is hope. And to be honest with you guys, even still at this point, I was thinking there is a chance. It is not a great chance, but there's still a chance for us to win this race, to catch those 2 riders, because of a couple of things. One, there are still motivated riders in this group who want to win. It's not just me. And number 2, with 2 riders off the front, oftentimes you'll get that game of cat and mouse where they really slow down too. So I'm thinking at this point, like, maybe there's a chance, but once we make this right-hand corner, look, we're going 21 miles an hour. Like, we have to be consistently fast at this point. So I'm going to get in the drops here. I think it's coming. Yep, there it goes. Over 1,000 watts. And now I'm just thinking to myself, all right, well, I'm just going to fall on the sword. Like, I am going to put my head down here. If I can drop everybody and get across, that's great. It's very unlikely. But I just have to commit to getting across to them, even if that means I'm going to lose this race, because I got to die trying. Like, I'm not going to just wait and then sprint for third. It's not the way I like to race at Alviso. And then this happens. The car on course. This is Alviso, guys. This is what happens when you race an open course, is sometimes there's a car. We choose Alviso because it's very unlikely that there's cars that interfere, but every once in a while it happens, and then even more rare on the last lap. So obviously we're not going to be unsafe. I put my hand up. I call it. But shout out to the lead riders, Max and Donald, because the truth is I wasn't catching them. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say the car is the reason why I didn't make it across to them. They were gone, and especially Max, because he's the one who ended up winning. Let's go back one more time and look at that attack that he put in. 200 IQ move here, you guys, if you want to see what it looks like. He saw that one skipped pull without any hesitation. He just sent it. He saw the writing on the wall. He knew what was going to happen. He knew the games, and he was rewarded with the win. So big congrats to Max for that. Good to see you back out there, buddy. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.